Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters, and do we have any guests today?
Yes, we do.
Right there. I had an awesome experience at the Landmark Forum about 2 weeks ago. Landmark is designed to help us mostly with the way that we see and interpret the world. And then knowing how we interpret the world, how we can use that to exist in the world and help others see that as well. And mostly what I got out of being at the Landmark Forum for 33 hours was distinctions. Let's call them distinctions. The distinction that I will share with you today is probably the most profound of the distinctions, which mostly centers around how we interpret the world and how each of us interprets the world differently, which gives us a bias that we're unaware of. What if I shared with you that your lives, our lives, are meaningless? Did that rub you the wrong way? It did me. Being told my life is meaningless until I understood exactly what the meaning was behind that statement. Imagine, if you will, your head, got it, your head, with a file cabinet attached to the back of it. A small one, but nonetheless, many files are contained there. And then imagine how when someone says something to you, even the speech that I'm delivering to you right now, you're interpreting that speech, the words that are coming to you through the file cabinet that is attached to your mind. Essentially, you're running it through the files and asking questions. How does this fit into that which I know, that which I've learned, that which someone has taught me, where I went to school, where I grew up, what made me who I am? How does this fit? And oftentimes when it doesn't fit perfectly into a file, we simply just reject it as unworkable. There's something called already active listening. I sort of heard an example of that this morning when Gabe said that he's worked on his ability to listen rather than just react with what he wants to say before the person is done talking. That's an example of already active listening. Think of how Alexa or Siri or any of these devices sit on your countertop. That's sort of a technology version of already active listening. It's waiting there for us to say something so that it can respond. We do the same thing as humans. The version that we have, which is already active listening, is always running. It's the voice in our head which responds when someone says something or something happens. We're always asking the question, who, how, why? What's in it for me? What's in it for them? How do I look? This is good. This is bad. Why is he saying this? This doesn't make sense to me. All this is always going. If you're saying to yourself, I don't have active always listening, I don't have a voice in my head, I'll have you consider that the voice that told you you don't have a voice is the voice. How do we deal with this? Best thing to do is acknowledge the voice in your head and realize that it's there. And then just be aware and be more present. I promised you 3 simple steps to living the life you love through language, and before I did that, I had to lay the groundwork and help us understand how we're perceiving the world. The first thing to do is to distinguish facts versus the story. Distinguish the facts, what happened, from the interpretation. People think their facts are, the interpretations are the facts. Can you think of a time when someone said something to you and it made you feel a certain way? Got it? They said, you felt. To separate facts from interpretations or stories, we have to separate the facts from the story. You call Grandma. Grandma says, you never call me. I feel like Grandma's mean. No, Grandma said you never call me. That's all that happened. If we can realize that we can apply that same thing to everything. I was driving down the road at 2 o'clock in the morning and I got a flat tire. That's what happened. How do I feel about it? What's the meaning I attach to that? It's either It's either unworkable, which is this sucks, the life is out to get me, and God is destined to have me have a bad experience. Woo! Or I cannot wait for this stroll I get to have down 28th Street because I could run into all sorts of cool people, and wouldn't that be a great story to tell in about 10 years to my great-grandchildren? A long time from now to my great-grandchildren. See, it's the fact versus the story we tell it, and that plays out each and every day of our lives. Once we know that the facts are different than the interpretation, we then can get clear about our commitments. What is it that we really want? Focusing on what we want. In the story about calling Grandma, and she's mad. No, she's not mad. She said, you never call me. You said that she was mad. What do we really want? We want a better relationship with Grandma. Realizing that and focusing on that. Starting with an apology. I'm sorry, Grandma. I never called. To that, she probably would say, okay, anyway, moving right along. Focus on the workable versus unworkable, and that's the best way to distinguish it. One is workable. We can do something with this. Labeling somebody a name, whatever that name is, lazy, no good, is unworkable. It goes nowhere. It goes down to a rabbit hole. It just ends at a dead end. Considering that there might be something else gives us possibility. It's more workable. It's more workable. Maybe they're going through something that's workable. Maybe I can help them. That's workable. Do we see the difference? Workable versus not workable. And then lastly, discover unrealized potential. How do we put this into action? Put it into action. Schedule it on your calendar. There's so many times when we say, that's a great idea, I love this concept, and then that's it. Put it on your calendar. In this example with Grandma, schedule time to call Grandma. Schedule time to see Grandma. That's how, in the moment of doing so, we make a declaration to the universe that we are creating this opportunity to spend more time with Grandma. Unless we actually do something and take action in that moment, we've not made a creation at all. As soon as the words exit my mouth, they're behind me. The speech started about 6 minutes ago. Where is the speech right now? Is it in the past? Right. It's in the past. So in order to make a commitment that sticks, action has to be taken upon making the declaration. In closing, creating a life we love through language is best accomplished that as long as we're making a choice about what something means, choosing the most empowering version or empowering choice we can, and therefore making it workable.